Yes, again, it's Friday, and what an exciting day. This is the first show of the beginning of our third year of drama. Hey, everybody. Happy Pi Day, happy Friday, happy drama. I am Dave Rush. This is an Ask Me Anything drama, and I am so glad to be here. What a week. What a week. Just before the show last week, I got handed down one of those all hands on deck projects. And I said, let me do the show. I got a lot going on here, and then I'll get fired up on it. I spent the weekend doing prep on the project. And then it turned into two projects on Monday, and I have been working diligently. And last night I said, you know what? I really ought to start writing the show. And I fell asleep on the couch as I was thinking that. So I got up nice and early this morning and wrote the show. And so here we are. As if I didn't say that, you'd never know. But, I am open and transparent. Oh, man. 50 days, something like that, 56 days of not going below 100 degrees Fahrenheit. About 35, 36 centigrade Celsius, Celsius. So worship my iced tea. Man, I worship. And you know what? Physiologists tell us that you shouldn't drink cold drinks to cool down on a hot day. Drink hot drinks. So I do both. I don't know who's right. I could argue either side of the coin, but please. Anyway, good afternoon and hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. We got a good day planned. Got not too much Linux news to get into. So we're taking all kinds of questions, CompTIA questions, testing technology questions. And I got a really fun little project. I had a couple projects in mind to start our third year off with, and they both kind of evaporated. So I found this one. I like this one. I found another one too. I'll tell you a little bit about that I'm going to explore for either next week or the week after that. Depends on how much prep time I have and how much prep time it takes to get into it. But fun stuff. So let's start out by seeing who has joined us. I saw this message earlier and I actually tried to respond to it, but the user had left already, so I couldn't respond. But a message turned up at 9:36 this morning. What is it? 6.5 hours ago, from Samba Jallo, who said, "Hi, Mr. Mike. Can you please tell me about the timetable?" So I tried to write him back. Within 35 minutes, I saw that message and intended to write him back and say, what type of timetable do you want about? But he was gone. So hopefully he'll come back and we'll figure out what that question is. And if not, cool bananas. Tolowitz here as ever and always, only 20 minutes earlier. I think that Samba doesn't count. So Tolowitz is first again. Catherine Morgan, I was so close. Yes, you were. You guys both have the same timestamp to the minute. And good day, Catherine Morgan from Dave. Andre, I saw you had some cool message down lower. I'll get down there and find out what that is. Will Shaw. Will, I got your email. I didn't look at the details. I saw the title and the first line of it. So I will get into that and respond to you this eve. I hope things work out for both of us. Cool. Quick high won't be able to stay. Doctor's appointment. Okay. Go see the doc. I know. Got to get that medical every 6 months. I liked before I got my my captain slot. You had to maintain a first class medical, but you were allowed to let it drop to second for the second 6 months. But then, of course, when you go captain, you got to do it every 6 months. And I hope it's a medical, and I hope you kick its butt real quickly. Kylie Powder is here. Okay, so Kylie wrote me a note before I read your message here, who says, "Where's my winnings from last Friday's show? I have not touched any of them. I apologize. That all hands on deck project has kept me swampificated. So apologies. If you won anything last week, I have not done anything about any of that. I will attack it all this Sunday and turn it all into the appropriate people on Monday morning, and then a couple days probably for you to hear from anybody. So if you won something last week, I am sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not able to get to you on in a timely basis, but I will slam that this weekend. I apologize. All right. So Kylie says at 1:57, 3 minutes before the show starts. Hi, everyone. I have work today. My second day. That's right. She's got a new job. So she won't be here. She'll watch later. Okay. Probably didn't even catch my little diatribe for her, but she was one of the winners and other people have won. Catherine Morgan says, good afternoon to Kylie. Andre, talking to Kylie, but this one intrigues me, so I will participate at one. Excuse me. Here comes the hiccups. By the way, I have contractors here. They're working on the roof and in the attic, so we may get noise. And the other, by the way, nobody said I can't hear you, so I'm going to assume that I'm being heard. But if somebody says so, that would be nice. All right. Anyways, Andre says, Andre de Goyer at 1:59, Kylie Powder, I signed my contract today. I'll start on October 11th or October 1st. Either way, you start in the first 1 to 11 days of October. I got to stay with the company where I did my internship. That congratulations, Andre de Goyer. That's really wonderful. You and so many people we met on these forums, on Mike's forums and my forums, and you came from a background of limited IT, and now you are true IT professionals, and so pleased and proud for all of you who've accomplished this. Trish Grace joins right on time at 59. Maria S. is here. And hi, Maria, I do have you. Okay, got you set up for your regular winnings in the last couple days. So that gets submitted tonight, by the way. If you want anything on Mike's show this week, or if you want anything on my show today, I submit those on Friday night. The people who handle that stuff get in first thing Monday morning. They take care of their critical business, their weights up, and then they take care of my business, usually if everything goes well. So you should hear from them Monday or so. And here comes the contractors. They've been sitting in their contractor trucks out front for the last hour. We've been waiting for them to knock on the door and say, here we come. And here they come. Reading messages here. TD Washington's here. Hi, Dave and everyone. Hey, by the way, Kylie added her picture to her Discord profile. I love when you guys do that. It's and same thing. I see this on LinkedIn stuff. It's really nice to put a face to the name. And I do the same thing you do. I hope you do the same thing I do. You see a name. Let's say I don't know. Let's pick a name out of random here. I've seen most of these people. I know what everybody looks like here. Samba Jallo. Okay, I have no idea what Samba Jallo does, and so we immediately form some image in our mind of what Samba Jallo might look like, and then that image gets refined in your mind as we communicate, and then one day you see a message, a picture, and you say, "Man, I could not have been more wrong," or on rare occasion, nailed it. I had 2 posts this week. You are connected to computer audio. That's a good sign. Live stream is happening here. All right, am I back? Can anybody see me? Let me see if I'm alive here. I don't know if the contractor tripped a breaker or if somebody had an accident, but we had a power outage here. Most of my stuff is protected. My laptop stayed just fine. My router is just fine. I look like I'm alive. Let me refresh that screen. All right, somebody tell me, can you see me? Am I back? Unable to. Yeah, we're halfway home here. Okay, that looks good. Good old UPS. Yeah, I have one thing that's not UPS, and it will be today, but I look like I'm back, and at least, okay. Yeah. Come on, let's get the other thing. The last of the things to come back. Come on, baby. October 1st. Okay, says Andre. We get that cleared up. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Capture top moments. New create. Huh? It's pouring. It's a weather oriented thing. Hey, I'm back. I show everything as restored. How exciting. Wow. All right. That was probably about a 5-minute interruption. And we haven't had rain in 2 months. It is pouring out there. So that was apparently the cause. I apologize. These things happen. But wow, isn't technology incredible that with a catastrophic interruption like that, we can come back? All right, so let me figure out where I was. The AMAs are in the evening for me. I don't have to miss them too often. Okay. All right, well, I don't know where I was, but I'm going to pick it up at 2:02 timestamp. Oh, no, you know what? I got to do this. Come on. There we go. Pop that out, go over here and move this back. All right, now I'm back in business. Now I have every reason to believe I'm back in business anyways. Waiting. Okay. Change this back to live chat. And we're cooking. Wow. Okay, I do see somebody. Cosmic Cat says, we hear you. And I think that was the most important and pressing thing that I was asking for. So 2:02, Muhammad Al Obayad is here. Hello. Patricia Grace, that's ridiculous. So-called experts need to be locked into a room to follow their own advice, set temp to 85, and serve hot, unsweetened tea. Oh, I don't mind the hot, but sorry, mine's got to have some kind of sweetener in it. Catherine Legrand is here among the many Catherines. Thank you. Juan Flores is back. Zach Teal. Zachary Teal. I saw a Zach T reference on, wow, thunder, lightning. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't have to water the lawn today. Assuming power doesn't go out again. Hey, so if power goes out again, I'm going to kill it for the rest of the day, and we'll pick it up with Mike's show on Monday, because that's just far too heart-stopping. Anyways, I saw a Zach T reference on one of the posts that I made on LinkedIn. And that was, I think, where I got interrupted here. I did 2 posts this week on LinkedIn, one a few days ago to talk about the show today. Yeah. So don't read that one anymore. I should pull those posts after they expire. It's strange to me. Sometimes people will do a comment or a like or something like that on a post that was about an upcoming show that has already happened. Yeah, fine. You comment. I love to see what people have to say. Whatever. The other one was I did a repeated post, a shared post today, and I'm pretty sure that's where I saw a Zach T. You know, what are the odds that you're a different one? You got to be the one. And no Toity breaks. I'm from the upper Midwest. My grandparents used to call it Toity. Cosmic Cat, while watching Total Seminars material, I was thinking about Total Seminars today. I wonder if being an employee of Total Seminars makes me a total seminarian. Sorry, anyways, 204 Cosmic Cat. While watching Total Seminars material, it was suggested to use third-party tools in regard to system images instead of native Windows software. When should you use Windows and when to use third-party? It's a comfort issue. Third-party tools will make block level images, which is not what the image tool in Windows does. So if you want to make a clone of a disk, that's when you go third party. If you want to clone the data and recreate but not clone the boot configuration files, the BCDs, then the Windows imager is appropriate. So it's all about what you want to do. Okay, regular doc, BP letter for the aviation doc. Oh yeah. I got away with that without having to do that before I wound up taking my last first class medical. I know that I would fail a BP right now on a first, but this weight loss is really helping. And when I shake back down, when I break under 200 again, I'll go back and get another first. October 1st. Very good. Zach Teal. Oh, you met at Skills. Okay. In the ITS category as well, besides a hellacious heat. You bet. Caden Coolidge stopping by to say hi. Got a dash. I probably missed you already. Luck with the pie. Man, that was the thing I was reading last night before I went to bed. There may be emulators, ARM emulators, that you can install on an Intel Windows machine that will let you run Raspberry Pi OS on Windows. I've never seen anybody do a write-up or anything like that, but I just got to thinking about it. It's got to be possible by now. So I have that in my project pile for the next 2 weeks. That could be really, 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 really fun. Everybody else stayed up at least and got to talk about my goneness. I'm a Chihuahua. The El Paso Chihuahuas. There's actually a team out in El Paso, Texas called the Chihuahuas. They're a AAA baseball team. I only know that because they advertise on the radio here so frequently. Nope, wasn't you. Summit stinks. Oh, goodness, stop it. Contractors. Nope, I don't blame the contractor on this one. It was the sudden shower. So I'm thinking it's showering and somebody skidded into a pole. Zoom did save the day. It automatically came back up, picked up where it left off. That was awesome. Very nice, Patricia. Good joke. I'm back. Okay. You're back. I'm back. I'm front. Depends which way I'm facing. Well, thanks for sticking around for those of you who did. How many people did I lose in that? I'm not going to look. I don't care. How about we shrink that and then we can see all kinds of, oh, good. We've got our normal contingent here. Kenny Clayton is here. Kenny Clayton. We've had Claytons here before. I don't remember Kenny. Short memory. Bad iced tea, maybe. Anyways, welcome, Kenny. Chris Kent, always a regular. Muhammad El Bayad, it seems my Raspberry Pi burned up. Very nice. I'm blurry, huh? That's just because I've been drinking. Sorry. I've got to fiddle with my knobs. Better to have rain outside than hot water heater pouring down the stairs. Man, you know, fighting with insurance companies and getting attorneys involved, and people come over still. You know, we have friends for some odd reason who come over, and I am just horrifically embarrassed of holes in my house and carpeting gone and bare floors. Ugh. Oh well, such is life. We get up every morning, get out of our nice, organized, neat, clean bedroom, and then meander down here into the mess. Tow it. Will there be issues if you clone your boot SATA SSD to an M2 and make that a boot drive? It should not. I have certainly done the same thing with other SSDs. It's blocks, right? Bottom line is it all comes down to blocks. So no, should work like a dream. There you go. Andre DeGora. We do that all the time. No issues so far. Cosmic Cat, you said you're from the Midwest. You can see that I'm from Michigan myself. I know you are, and that's why I talk slowly. I'm from the Cleveland area, so whenever we talk to people from Michigan, especially people who went to I don't know, University of Michigan, you know, we talk more slowly and use simple words. I'm sorry, Cosmic. It's just an old ingrained thing. I'm sure you guys do the same when you're thinking of Buckeyes. We use Macrium Reflect. Okay, there was some discussion on the Discord channel this week about Macrium. I saw Macrium was recommended and free. All right, caught up on questions here. Let's do a little background, get the intros and all that nonsense out of here. We're 22 minutes into the show, so we got plenty of time to accomplish everything that I have on schedule. The project today is only 15, 20 minutes, something like that. It's nice and quick and easy and painless. So if you're watching for the first time, I do see a couple reasonably new names. Welcome. This is Drama. Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything. We get together every Friday at 2:00 and talk about technology. Our bailiwick is CompTIA Trifecta, but we'll talk about any certification, any technology, any topic pretty much. If it's not religion, politics, or pandemics. Our focus here is trying to use Raspberry Pis as tools to foster our studies into technology. So oftentimes we'll fire up a Raspberry Pi and play with a particular command on it that's part of an objective from one of the CompTIA classes. That's what we're doing today. Sometimes we get a little more involved and make servers and configure other kinds of files. We do all kinds of neat stuff with it. And sometimes I go far afield. I get tired of talking about this is objective 5.3 in Security Plus. Here's how you can illustrate. Sometimes I just want to have a little fun and do a fun project, and Raspberry Pis are great for that. So the easiest way to communicate, this is an Ask Me Anything, is to type messages into the YouTube chat feed. But if that's not possible for you, because sometimes it's not, there are other ways to get in contact with me, and I encourage you to use them. For instance, if you wanted to send an email to me, you could do that by sending a message to daveR@totalsem.com. That'll get to my work email, or you can contact me personally, drushtx@yahoo.com. Don't send it to both. They cross-link to each other. If you catch me on Steam, I'm BloodRushTX. I have not steamed this week, but I did fire up RetroPie a week ago, and I got a couple of minutes on it last night. I just needed a brain break, and so I did that. While we got the other stuff up here, I have a web server that I keep running up all weekend. I fire it up on Friday mornings and run it till late Sunday night. I also will bring it up if you send me an email whenever it's convenient for you, as long as I'm in town or not traveling or something like that. It's called pirsquare.zapto.org. And what would you find in there? You'll find all of the documents for all of the shows that I've ever done, my outlines and my slides and my pictures and things like that. So if you want to do a project and you want to watch one of the shows in the archive and it's dragging for you, hey, download the archive documents. They're all organized by date. I have every time we did a project, which is we've got 104 shows or so under our belt, 105, something like that. Then there's documents for you. You can download those and follow along, and of course you can watch them in the YouTube archives. A couple of years ago, somebody set up the Unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. By the way, I'll put links for all this stuff in the YouTube chat feed as soon as I'm done showing these slides. But if I forget, or if I lie, that happens, or if things get lost because of a power failure, just pause this screen here and type this in. This is a permanent invite to the Unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. It's not something that Total Seminars has anything to do with. We didn't set it up. We don't operate it. We are participants in it, just like most of the other people, though. Some of the moderators are here, and the latest founder for this, it had to get recreated. So it was made once by one person, and then it got lost, and then somebody else set up basically a duplicate of it. 430 some odd users on there right now. That sounds like a small number. Try and set up a server right now and see how long it takes you to get 400 subscribers. Okay, it's tough, and that kind of numbers are absolutely impressive numbers for what it is. And the whole point of it started out as, hey, we watched Mike's show, we watched Dave's show. Now let's go talk more about it. Let's go talk about the terrible haircut that Dave had, or the really cool thing that Mike talked about. Let's see if we can talk more about it. And Mike and I and some of the former hosts on here will join up on those. We'll bring mics and cameras, and you can have full-fledged one-on-one, voice-to-voice, face-to-face conversations. I'm logged in 24 hours a day. If I'm awake and my computer's on, it's on. You can send me a message anytime. I'll hear it wonk. By the way, I have it de-wonked for the duration of the show. So apologies for last Friday's show. It was my fault that there was a really loud wonking sound toward the end of the show. It was the Discord server kicking off, but I do have that fixed right now. So at any rate, join us on the Discord channel anytime. There's all kinds of sub forums and interest groups and lots of other goodies there. And the last thing for the slideshow for the moment, we have weekly specials. This week's special, 50% off a bundle that you create. Start by going to totalsem.com. And then if there's any of these 7 areas that you would like to study for, all you have to do is get the ebook for that topic and the Total Tester a practice test. Put those both in your shopping cart. And then when you go to checkout this week, the code is oxygen. Mr. Priestley discovered oxygen this week in, I don't remember what year, 1795, something funky like that. But put in oxygen, and that'll get you 50% off of those 2 items in your basket, which are already blindingly inexpensive. All right, that's that. Who else had what to say here? Cosmic Cat, you said from the Midwest. Andre, who's Macrim, slid up here. And I did U of M too. Cosmic Cat, we have an employee who works for Total Seminars, Kathy Yale. We put her name up here all the time. She is our head of sales and head of marketing, and she has freebies and goodies for teachers who teach our classes. She has stuff for sale for them. And she went to I went to Ohio University, not to Ohio State University, but to Ohio University, about 60 miles south of OSU. But we have spent the last 11 years picking and poking at each other with the great rivalry between Ohio State and And is a really great school. If you go to University of Michigan and then somebody asks you where you went to school, you can say, and you'd be right. Oh, how I live for those moments. Wonk, wonk, who's there? Thank you. So, you know, to me, that's what it sounds like. It's a wonk. All right, what's on my handy dandy notes? Is there anything cool to talk about in here? There almost always is. Sure, we've done most of this stuff. Today is August 5th. And this is show number 104. And we talked about that, and we talked about this, and we talked about how to contact us and live on the show or after the show via email. We talked about specials. And so then we start to prepare to talk about today's project. And as I mention every week, whenever we have a project, I try to let you know, do you need a Raspberry Pi for this project? Sometimes the answer to that is absolutely. The project was designed for a Raspberry Pi, and sometimes it's just something that can be done with a lot of Linux distros. And today, our project is how to find hosts with duplicate IP addresses. And we're going to use a utility that doesn't come with most Linux distros pre-installed. We'll show you how to install it. And it's available for all Debian distros, all Red Hat distros, Raspberry Pi. So you don't have to have a Raspberry Pi to do today's project. Any Linux distro will do. If you're running it in a virtual machine, that's fine. If you're running it on a standalone machine, that's fine too. Let's see. Oh, I didn't put up the links. I promised I would put up links. So let's get some links going here. Checklist, voucher, show notes. All right, I got lots of links to post. Here we go. It starts with the Pi Square server. Click. All right. And then the Discord invitation. Click. And then the specials for this week and the code. I am suddenly concerned that this code is wrong. Nah, Oxygen is right. Oxygen. This, oh man. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Something has gone amiss. Show notes. That's for 8/12. That's why I need show notes for today's show. There we go. 8/5. Almost put up the code for next week's show. There we go. Oxygen, this week's show. That's rare that I catch my mistake before I actually make it. 1774, English chemist Joseph Priestley discovers oxygen by isolating it in its gaseous state. All right, email addresses. I'll post those. My email address is how to communicate with me if the show ain't happening. And just for hoots, my LinkedIn profile. If you link with me or follow me, you'll get my at least weekly posts, and I try to do more these days. Anything else here? All right, a bit of news here. This coming Thursday, day before the next drama, which is, I think, is the 11th, at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. How much am I lying about any of this stuff? This is open to drama. I lost it. It was probably in that other file that shouldn't. All right. I'm not going to bring that back up again. Yeah, I will. What the heck? I got nothing to do. It just takes a second. Click this. Okay, that's the show notes from 8/12. Well, this is all wrong. What Linux total testers? All right, there it is. All right, Thursday, August 11th, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Just delete that out of there, close that. That's in the wrong place. If I put that in next week's stuff, it'll already be gone. All right, anyways, Mike Myers and some of his brethren over at Cyber Now Labs and National Cyber Group are doing a live webinar. I just read about it. I got the notification. You didn't call me and tell me about this, so I'm just kind of stealing here. But I'm going to put the link up for this. And an exciting opportunity for anyone in pursuit of or currently Security Plus certified to fast track into a high-paying cyber career, gaining real experience and help securing a job as a result of this hands-on training. Learn why we call this an unboot camp. So half-hour seminar coming up on Thursday, August 11th. at the link that I've just posted in the YouTube chat. All right, is that everything that I've got that I want to do here, Cyber Now? There's one other coming up. Boy, what a mess I am. Okay, I can get that thing from someplace else. Sorry, I started out organized, and then that power failure really threw me. All right, let's finish up business here. Where we been? So last week, we didn't do anything technical. We celebrated our 2-year anniversary of drama. And as I mentioned, if you want a prize last week, I have not done anything about it yet. I am so terribly sorry, and I will get to it this weekend. It was a jam-packed week. Where are we going this week? We're going to take a look at how to find hosts that have duplicate IP addresses. And we'll talk, of course, about how to deal with the problem. I got a tutorial for that. I don't have a tutorial, but I have a document that inspired me to do this. So I'm going to post that in the link in the chat right now, and I'll post it again in a little while. Okay, contact page. Remember, if anything happens too fast, today's show is already archived up on pirsquare.zapto.org. So you can download it from that. News, tricks, and techniques of the week. It's 37. Last time I'll mention this, I'll pull this off the list this week. If you are in search of a discount voucher that's good for outside the United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada, we can now sell them. We have them on our website. Just go to totalsem.com, and you'll see right there on the main page on a picture of I think it's a Blue Angels jet, international vouchers, and it says buy now. You just click on that. That just takes you to the page. You don't have to buy anything yet, but we have discount vouchers available for 50 different countries. It arrived yesterday. And usually when things come in, get shipped, and they turn up and they're some Raspberry Pi thing that I'm waiting for, I'm too busy. It sits there until I get time on a weekend or whatever. But this one, I said, nah, everything stops right now, and we install it. So what happened yesterday is I received RAM. This is the RAM that I took out of my Intel NUC that I'm trying. Let me get this where I can see that, so I can see if you can see it. There we go. So I took this out of my Intel NUC. It's a pair of 16 gig SODIMMs. So I had 32 gigs in my Intel NUC, which is becoming my Ubuntu-based daily driver. And I put in my pair of 32 gig SODIMs, bringing me to 64 gigs. Arr. And then I did some testing. Let me show you a little bit. We won't go overboard on this. Share screen. This one looks like a good one to share. Can I zoom in on that? Yeah. So that's my Ubuntu desktop on my machine. And I've run the free command. This shows you 2 categories of RAM. There's my total, 65 million bytes, billion bytes, 64 gigabytes. And then here was cat proc mem info. It gives me a lot more information about that. So then the next thing I did was to set up VirtualBox and set up 7 virtual machines. And I kept the 8th core. I got 8 cores. Kept that for running the host OS, and then ran 7 virtual machines, each with 8 gigs simultaneously. And that makes it totally possible for this machine to truly become my daily driver, because I can run Windows in VirtualBox, and then the things that I have to do with Windows that aren't available for Linux yet, I can. So I'm excited. I am so excited. Last time I'll mention this one. I'm keep it up for the weekend. I did a video in, I don't know, April about, it's a broad overview of what Linux admins need to know about databases, specifically SQL databases and object-oriented databases. And I did it for a lot of different reasons, but as I look it over with a couple minor I think it may be acceptable in my upcoming Linux admin basics class. And I would like you please to watch it. It's 20 minutes. You can download it. You can watch it live online. If you're going to or if you're not going to watch it this weekend, right click on it and download it and watch it. And then send me feedback, please. Should I reshoot it? Should I not include it as it is in its course, in my upcoming course? Or it's good enough, let's keep it there. So the link for that, I'm going to put here, pirsquare.zapto.org. Here's the total link. It takes you straight to the video. But if not, you can just go to pirsquare.zapto.org and then go to the downloads page. There's a link right on the main page. That's what I did with it. It's in a downloads folder, but either way, you'll see it. It's called Linux Admin Databases, unedited. I mean, they didn't put any branding or anything like that. So hopefully you get a chance to look at that and give me some feedback. I appreciate it. Got a question last week about Batocera, a retro gaming focused OS available on multiple platforms. Batocera is available for Raspberry Pi, specifically the 4. It's kind of memory hoggy, and I'm going to do a presentation on that. So another gaming platform, has nothing to do with CompTIA exams, and I'm happy about that. All right, let's pick up questions here, and then we'll do a contest. I'm going to give you fair warning today. Today's contest is not a random number generated contest. I got a technical question. It's something we have bumped into many, many moons ago, but we haven't really talked about it. So if you don't already know this one off the top of your head, this is going to be an opportunity for you to research. So I'd have another window open with your favorite search engine, because that's the only way you're going to win today's contest, unless you are already a guru in this kind of stuff. All right, to questions then. There we go. I was waiting for the super scroll and I got it. Tell what went to the other. So that's the way to do it, right? You either go to University of Houston or University of Hawaii to do your undergrad. Then you went to and then you go to University of Michigan or maybe Maryland and for your grad work. And then sorry, dad joke and a half. 231. Zapto site is not up yet. You know what? It probably went down with the power failure. I'm not going to fight with it right now. I'm doing stuff with you. I will get it tested and checked after this. Let me ping it real quick here. CMD ping 192.168.1.250. All right, it's up. All right, now give me a worry. Hang on, let me go see if I can get to it in a browser window. My browser goes out to the world. And pirsquare.zapto.org is not up and working. All right, I'm not going to troubleshoot it now when we get done. Sorry, I'll get it fixed as soon as the show's over. That kind of stuff drives me nuts. Hang on, I got to look at the one page and see if I typoed something when I did port forwarding. 192.168.1.250 seems to be up and running. Let's reapply it and make sure everything's copacetic. Port 80, TCP. Remember, if you've got a browser that automatically turns HTTP calls into HTTPS calls, you got to get rid of the S. It is HTTP pure and sweet and simple pi square http://pi r square .zapto.org. Maybe their DNS server's down. I don't know. I'll troubleshoot it later. Weird. Sorry. So, this show is rapidly devolving from a 10 to a 7. It happens sometimes, right? Mohammed, is Lebanon one of those 50 countries? I think you asked about that before, and I looked it up that day and did not find it. But that I'm not going to research right now. All you got to do is go to totalsem.com and check out the international vouchers, and you'll see if it's listed. HTTP error 500. No, I'm looking up at it. I want to reboot it. I want to do things to it. I'm not going to. I'm doing a show. I'm going to do a giveaway next. Where's my Zapto server? There's Zapto. I'm going to power it off and power it on, see if anything happens. Maybe it, so I know I got network. There's like the big no-no. Unplug and replug. Oh, you know what? I wonder if what happened is the switch got hiccuped. All right, we'll see if it comes back. Oh, thank goodness I was wearing pants. All right, back to notes here. Hey, let's do a contest. We got YouTube working. And see, I got slides here so I can do that contest. All right, so we're gonna do a contest. This is gonna be for 90 days free access to any total tester practice test of your choice. Whatever we got in stock, it's all of them. It's just software. And all you got to do is before end of day today, like right after the show, go to totalsem.com if you win and take a look at all of our total tester products. Pick the one that you want. And what I'm going to need to know is the exam that you're using it to study for. So the exam number, it's not A+, it's not Network Plus, it's 220-1001 or N10-008, CS0-002. Okay, I need the exam number on here. That's how we track them on the internal inventory thing. And so this is going to be a one-word answer. This isn't closest to, it's not going to be a numeric answer. I'm going to ask you the name of a command / utility, and you're going to tell me the name of that command. First person to get it right. Spelling counts this time because this is a command. This is exactly what you'd have to type in order to run this program. It's a program name as well as the broad name of a utility. So first person to get that in correctly will win 90-day free access to the Total Tester product of their choice. Let me get my ducks in a row here so I can do this. I got to get two things up and ready to go. This cash in. All right, this gets copied and pasted, goes over here in the contest winner document page. Today is 8/5. 8-3. Muhammad won that one. Muhammad Al Albayad and Maria S. I do have your information from winning on Mike's show on Monday and Wednesday. Here we go. All right. Let me get the slide. I made slides for this. What a nice guy I am. Tutorial link. All right. There's the question of the day. Share the screen. This one. And here we go. So contest question for today, 90-day free access to the Total Tester practice test of your choice. What is the name of the Linux utility / command used to examine captured packets? It's not Wireshark. Wireshark is not a utility. It's a program. And it's not Okay, it's not a Linux utility. It's a Windows utility and Linux and all kinds of other flavors. You can play it on Macs. So what's the name of the Linux utility / command used to examine captured packets? Contact, huh? 3, 2, 1 contact. Okay, I like that. Pseudo cap packs. Interesting. Pac-Man, we're playing Manjaro. I need some more guesses. Ooh, we're gonna do Baby Shark songs again. Where did we do that Baby Shark conversation? Was that on? It had to be on here. I mean, how many people we have here? I'm not going to hang out for the sake of 4 guesses. I want more guesses, and I will have them. All right, that's a little nice. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we got plenty of people here. I don't care if you've won in the past before, because my live turnout is low. My post view is very high. People come and watch this show all the time after it's been run and it's in the archive. So if you're here, you get a chance to win. Somebody just logged in right now. So we're doing a contest right now. Whoever just logged in, what's the name of the Linux utility / command used to examine captured packets? Winner gets 90-day free access to the total tester practice test of their choice. Pseudo. What's the word that we use when we want something? Pseudo. Some good guesses. 30 more seconds. Get that Googler working, or whatever your favorite search engine is. My favorite search engine, in case you've forgotten, I switched from Google because they're just a little too invasive and they draw too much information from me, collect my searches and all that stuff. So I use Quant, QWANT.com. Pseudo app remove pseudo. Odysseus. Nice to see you, Odysseus Constantino. All right. Well, we got it. Then let me get come up with a winner. Share the winning answer page. It is, somebody got it on very quickly, TCP dump. So we use libcap, and how about caplib? Yeah, no, libcap and the other capture interface capture utility, and it captures the packets, and then we use TCP dump to examine the packets or to control the packet capture utility. So I got a winner. It is Zachary Teal. Man, I just heard horrible contractor equipment noise. They're drilling holes in my roof. Because they re-roofed me a little while back, and then when the horribleness happened here, the flood, it was discovered that something didn't get hooked up correctly and that I was setting my attic up for a fire. So they are here to fix that problem. Zachary Taylor, you have won 90-day free access to the total, Zachary Teal, to the total tester of your choice. I have just posted at, what time is it? 55 minutes past the first hour, the instructions on how to collect your prize, and I'll put that up here. You're going to send an email to me, Dave R at TotalSem.com. And in the body of that email, you must include 4 pieces of information. If you don't, if anything's missing, I'm just going to send back a response that says incomplete. Try again. You can copy and paste all of this stuff out of what I just posted. So you're going to get it right. So I need your YouTube name, Zachary Teal, your real or your given name. Type it in. If it's the same thing as Zachary Teal, type in Zachary Teal. Don't say same as YouTube name. Same thing for your email address. I can't use the email address from your email header. You got to type it in for me, because this gets submitted as a document. It becomes a legal document that we have to track, and as a form, people can't be digging it out. And then finally, which practice test you would like a total tester for? Give me the exam number that. So congratulations, Zachary Teal. And I selected that as our practice test question of the day because we're going to not use TCP dump, but as part of our project today, we're going to use some related stuff. How's that? Sudo rmrf. Gee, nobody ever puts in sudo rm-rf root. Please don't anybody do that. Okay, if you don't know what Charlie just typed in, don't type that in. You will wipe out your Linux system. Hunter Zarnak. Hunter Zarnak, that is a new name for me, and I love it. I flew with Stan Zarnak for a number of years over at Allegheny Airlines. Stan, I believe, lives in Pennsylvania. I think he was a local there. If you are, I know there's more than one Zarnak in the world. I got Chervanaks all over the place who are related to me and who aren't. But if there's any chance that you're related to Stan Zarnak of Pennsylvania, stop in, visit me on Discord. Let's talk. Stan is a character. Love Stan. All right, I guess everybody. People do not randomly try the commands you see here. A comma after that. That sounds like a statement. People, comma, do not randomly try the commands you see here. Ooh, basic. 10 print hello. We're going to do echo dollar question later today. Go to 10. There's my favorite loop. My first programming language was basic. And for all intents and purposes, that was my last one. Yeah, I've dabbled with others, and I played Python in the last 2 years. But hey, we are caught up. Questions are caught up. Other stuff is caught up. Where's this thing? Let me see if there's anything else that I need to catch out of my notes. And with that all being caught up, yeah, we are ready to start today's project. How are we doing here on time? 58. I'm going to vamp. If I start this right on the hour, it really helps my editing later. So let's see if anybody else has snuck anything else in here. No, was there any good answers here? Oh, so I just rebooted that Pi server. Has anybody tried to see if it works? I will. No, same problem. All right, well, it may very well be the DNS server. Oh, like I said, I'll figure it out after the show, but the server itself is running fine. Let me see what happens if I try and access it locally. No reason to think I can't. 250, bingo. 192.168.1.250. It ain't working. There may be a problem with the server. All right. That was a good enough vamp. Well, you got a lot of activity going on here on the Discord channel. People trying to wonk me. It's been silent. I got it turned off in 3 different ways. Hey, I found something I was poking around today. Check out the Discord channel. If you need a drive array that holds 45 drives and you only want to spend $350, go to the Discord channel. I'll repost the link. I like to keep that fresh and frequently posted. I found somebody selling one, just the drive bay, not the drives, but it's got a server in it, and you run Linux on there and you turn it into a gigantic shareable drive array. Excuse me. And it holds 45 drives. You could be crazy and do them all as a big gigantic drive. You could do them as 45 separate mounted drives. You can RAID them. It's powerful. The biggest trick is you got to come up with $350 and he won't ship. You got to go pick it up from Austin. All right, let's do some projecting. So we start with notes. So this week's project, using a Raspberry Pi, you could use any Linux computer. 99.75% of any Linux box will do this. To find duplicate IP addresses. This does meet a specific objective in Network Plus N10008. It's objective 5.5. Given a scenario, troubleshoot general networking issues. And then they list some common issues, collisions and broadcast storms. And then the very third item in the list of common issues is duplicate MAC addresses, followed by duplicate IP addresses. So there's kind of a tutorial out there, a document, a write-up that inspired me to do this. And I've just posted that link again. But let me give you a little background here. I moderate a whole bunch of different forums where we have videos and classes and readable classes and stuff posted. And late last week, on the weekend, something like that, a student on Udemy pointed out a small typo error that we had in one of our lectures. It was more than a typo, it was an editing error. We were supposed to show, as part of the demonstration, 2 hosts with duplicate IP addresses and their impact. But there was an editing issue, something got yanked out, and when we were showing the 2 different hosts, they actually had different IP addresses. Now, the speaker, Mike, didn't know that that was going to get screwed up in editing, so he spoke as if there was 2 different duplicated IP addresses, and here's what happens, and here's how to get fixed. So if you listen to what he has to say, you will learn the information. But if you look at it, it's confusing. Wait a minute, Mike is saying there's duplicated IP addresses and they're different. So I've got that sent over to the editing group, and they will attack that when they get to it. They are, I was in there the other day, and they're shooting the new A+. What? Shooting takes 1 to 2 weeks, and then editing, and then it goes up. So it won't be long before we see a class. Well, that situation got me to thinking the best case of duplicate IP addresses that involves a Windows machine is when Windows detects the problem and offers to fix it. Now, maybe it can and maybe it can't. It depends on how and where the duplication came from. Because when Windows does attempt to fix a duplicate IP address, it does so by setting the machine to DHCP and then making a DHCP request. Well, if there's no DHCP server, that's not going to work. So if you set static IP addresses, it may or may not work. So sometimes Windows can fix these things, sometimes it can't. But that's the best case scenario. And it's a great scenario for people who aren't us, people who don't dig into the guts of their computers and mess around and change IP addresses and change DHCP servers and things like that. Other symptoms that happen because of duplicated IP address, the one we just described is Windows detected it. But what happens if Windows doesn't detect it and fix it? Well, you get intermittent operations of the 2 affected hosts. Sometimes this one works, sometimes this one doesn't. Sometimes neither will work unless the other is turned off. The worst case scenario, and I've experienced this, we talked about this on several shows, complete and utter shutdown of the entire network. And the reason that that happened in my instance is because the duplicate IP address was the same IP address as my default gateway. So everybody was trying to contact the default gateway from this host, and it wasn't even a router. And so I had to shut everything down except the router. And then, okay, I bring up my computer. Does my computer work? Yes, cool. Bring up the Mrs. computer. Does that work? Yes, cool. All right, now we can do some troubleshooting over time. And I didn't think about the possibility that there were tools to help me do this. What I did is one by one, brought computers up, checked out their IP addresses, and made a list of the IP addresses of everything that was running until I finally found the one that had the duplicate address. That's kind of a pain. The utility that we're going to use today doesn't need to get to the default gateway to do anything, to do its work. So I could have left everything up and running and maybe solved it, maybe got the information, at least got some information that would have helped things happen more quickly. So first things first, To identify a duplicate IP address and the involved MAC address isn't too challenging. That means we're going to use today's utility. However, let's say that you have discovered two devices that have the same duplicate IP address and they have different MAC addresses. One is 026.083 ABC123 and the other is 026.08083 ABC. Cool. Now I know their MAC addresses. Which computers have that MAC address? So in order to do troubleshooting like this, you got to do some work up front. This is especially important on a network that has more than 4 or 5 devices. So many of the users that you know and that you work with day to day in their home networks, they've got 5 devices, 1 or 2 computers, 1 or 2 cell phones, maybe a smart TV and a router. And so it's easy enough to bring all that stuff down and bring it back up. But when you start getting into 10, 20, 30, and going upward, hundreds, man, now you got some real troubleshooting. So this goes back to network planning and documentation. Whenever you add a new device to a host, even if it's just your Wi-Fi phone, you should have a network document that identifies the name of this thing, its MAC address, how it gets its IP address. Is it static? Is it DHCP? If it's static, what is the IP address? What is the subnet mask? There's got to be a document for everything, every kind of computer and host. So when it comes time to troubleshoot, if I have a little bit of information about the device that needs troubleshooting, all I got to do is go to the network documentation and find out the rest of the way it should be. And of course, don't forget to update that stuff as things change. It's very easy to say, I'll get around to it, and we never get around to it. If you don't have that documentation, you can do what I did. We call that a top-down approach. Turn everything off, and then one by one, turn it on until you find the problem. That's a pretty big challenge, and especially if you're talking about a large network where you've got to kill productivity for a lot of people. So the other way is you can kill half the people by shutting down half the stuff and seeing if the problem still exists. We call this divide and conquer. If it still exists, that means that of the up machines, the 2 duplicated IP addresses are in the up batch and they're not in the down batch. So cool. I can bring up that down batch again. Everybody's functional there. And now I've got to start working again. I take that other half and I don't have to shut the whole thing down because I already know it's 2 of the computers in that list that's running. So I shut half of them down. And if the problem still exists on the running half, great. We've eliminated all those machines. If the problem doesn't exist anymore, bit of a problem because it could be 1 in the running list and 1 in the not running list, or both in the not running list. We don't know. So that's the way divide and conquer works. Just keep cutting things in half until we find them, or maybe bringing that second half up one by one. Yuck. But you've got to do your work up front before you do this. Now, here's another possibility. Let's say that I know the MAC addresses, you're going to find that out with today's utility, of the 2 hosts that have conflicting IP addresses. Well, if you know the MAC addresses, you can look at the first half of the MAC address, 02608C, and say, okay, that's a 3COM address, right? That's the OUI, the organizationally unique identifier. The first half of a MAC address is assigned to a company that licensed that. So now you find the machines that have 3COM network interface cards. Might be a 3COM based switch or a router or something like that, or an old machine that still uses plug-in network interface cards. But of course, if everything is a 3COM card, it's not so helpful. But at least looking up the OUI will give you an idea. Oh, one's a Raspberry Pi and one's a Dell. That's a good piece of information to know. Okay, did all that. So I'm using a computer right now that I took my own advice when I started working on this project. I created a network document. I started documenting all the information I've mentioned here. So this computer is documented. It's got a name. It's Dave's 2019 Asus Q50. It's a 502, not a 501 L laptop. Its name is Dave R. It's running Windows 11. I've documented the MAC address. I've documented the fact that it gets its IP address from DHCP and all that good stuff. So later, if I have a troubleshooting problem, I can use that document to help solve my problem. I hope, anyways. Okay, so planning is under our belts. We're done with that. The documentation is done. And if it's not, then you're going to go play divide and conquer or top down. Now, quick review. Let's talk about the ARP protocol, Address Resolution Protocol. Devices on the same network create frames. Frames have MAC addresses in them, source MAC address and destination MAC addresses and a frame check sequence, and they have IP payloads within them. They need all that stuff. Well, what happens if I've got your IP address? You're on the same network as I am, and I want to access your shared file server. I need to know your MAC address. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform an ARP. I will send out a frame that's addressed to all MAC addresses, FFFFFFFFFFF, 48 ones. And that means everybody on the network is going to receive this message. And I'm going to follow it up with my MAC address, 02608C ABC123. And then I'm going to have an IP packet or an ARP packet in there that says query 192.168.1.117. So that message, since it's addressed to all MAC addresses, goes to every computer in the network and gets passed up to their ARP software. And then their ARP software looks at it and says, somebody is querying about 192.168.1.117. That's not me. I'm 1.40 or whatever. So they just evaporate the frame and the packet. They don't care. But the one station that is .1.117 says that message is intended for me. I'm going to send back an ARP response. I know the MAC address of the sender, 02608C ABC123. I'll put my MAC address as the respondent and say, yes, that's me. That's my IP address. And so when that response, that ARP response comes back to me, I can do three things. One, I can update my ARP table. So if I ever have to communicate with that IP address again, I know its MAC address. I update my MAC table, and I can now generate the packet that I needed to generate to access that host's shared file service. How about the other way around? RARP, reverse ARP. Reverse ARP says, I know the MAC address of some destination host, but I don't know its IP address. So I send a RARP that says, attention 02608C 123 ABC. This is 02608C ABC 123 ABC, whatever. What's your IP address? And that host will receive it and send me back the response. Now, when I say I'm going to make this frame, I'm going to make this packet, it's not something I do. It happens automatically whenever you're trying to communicate with devices on your network. If your host doesn't know the IP address of the respondent but knows the MAC address, then he sends a RARP. If he knows the IP address but doesn't know the MAC address, he sends an ARP. So it's not something you have to be conscious of. It just happens. Now, how about I want to know if a host is up and functioning? Well, for that, we use our friend Ping, right? You got to know the IP address. And by the way, Ping is going to perform an ARP or look up my ARP table so it knows MAC addresses. And now we can say, hey, 192.168.1.250, are you up? Yes. And Ping just keeps doing that, right? Linux Ping does that continuously forever unless we stop it or unless we use a switch to say only ask this many times, only ping so many times. Of course, the Windows version of Ping, he only pings 4 times. All right. All that is foundation to talk about a combined utility that does some of the things that ARP does and some of the things that Ping does. And amazingly, it's called Arping, if you like. So our tool of choice for finding duplicate IP addresses and the host that they're on by MAC address is called Arping. It's not usually part of the default installed utilities that come with your Unix installation, but it's available in the repositories of most Linux distros. I don't know what's happened there. There we go. And we got to install it. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It generates some of the information that Ping does. It works like Ping in that it's continuous unless we do something to control that. But it's kind of like ARP, and we get information back that would normally be transparent and internal. So I can Arping an IP address, and when I get the response, I will not only know some timing information like Ping tells me, but I will know the MAC address of the respondent or respondents in the case of a duplicate. That's what this whole thing has been building up to. So required hardware, a Linux host with a connection to the internet so that you can install the Arping software. After that, you don't need a connection to the internet, but you'll need a local connection, of course, so you can find your offending problems. I'll do it on a Raspberry Pi running Raspberry Pi OS. The procedure that I'm going to show you works the same for most, if not all, Debian-based distros. And if you got a Red Hat-based distro, Red Hat, Fedora, old CentOS, Alma Linux, Rocky Linux, the only difference is we're going to use the apt command in Debian distros. We'll use the yum command in Debians. Yum in Red Hats. All right, let me bring up a, how do I want to do this? Let's bring up Putty. Putty, Pi at 192.168.1.121. Want to carry on connecting just once? Say no. Yeah, it's always no. And the password is, it's 121 Raspberry, RASPBERRY. All right, the font is big enough for you to see, so let's share. And we're sharing. So this is a stock basic Linux installation. There's nothing cool on there. I don't have Arping on here already because it's such a quick install that I want to demo it for you so you can see everything that you need to see. Let me put all my documents in the right places so I can see them and use them. All right, let's start by installing Arping. Sudo apt, or if you're old school, apt-get install Arping. Buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. And I want you to notice a couple of things that are happening here. First of all, I didn't do -y to force it to do it without asking, because I wanted you to see this. There are certain packages that get auto installed if they're not already installed when you do Arping. libnet1 and library pcap 0.8. So it says I'm going to do that, and therefore in total I'm going to install Arping, libnet1, and library pcap. That's the interface packet capture utility. Do you really want to do that? Yeah, I really want to do that. Y is capitalized. That means it's the default. All I have to do is hit enter, and it happens. Buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. By the way, if you remove Arping later with sudo apt remove or sudo yum remove Arping, it will not remove those two automatically installed packages. If you don't need them, to get rid of them, all you have to do is say sudo apt auto remove. And it's a safe thing to run, because if some other utility is using those, it won't remove them. So if you've got Wireshark or something like that running, Wireshark says, no, if I'm using that, you can't auto remove this thing. All right, cool. I got Arping installed. Now, Arping comes with man pages and it comes with built-in help. To get help, we simply say Arping -- help. And there are 30 switches here. Some uppercase, some lowercase. They do different things. I'm going to show you a couple of them today. You can also say man Arping. Arping. And there's the man page for it. It's got a lot more information for you to get out of there. Now, notice that I ran Arping help without sudo. That works. However, if you try to do any of these switches, it won't work. You have to use sudo with Arping. Check out my notes here. All right, the basic, most simple syntax that you can do. Here, let's try one that fails here. Arping 192.168.1. I didn't try this. I should never do this. It's untried. I used a different IP address, but this is the web server that's causing us trouble right now. And he says, I'm not working. And it's some very confusing messages until you see this last one. You may need to run as root. Okay, so let's add sudo to that. Sudo Arping 192, blah, blah, blah. And buzz, buzz, buzz. And hey, here it comes. So I'm getting responses from this MAC address, B827EB3C2217. Its IP address is this. The indexes is how many times, which attempt that I sent out my Arping request, and how long did it take to respond. We'll do Control-C to stop this. Now, what happens if we ping that same thing? I don't need sudo, ping 192.168.1.250. And I don't have any MAC information in here. I do see that I've got an ICMP and I'm getting sequence numbers. Those are kind of like index numbers. Time to live wasn't available in Arping. However, the response time was. So a lot of similar information, but not everything. Close it out, Control-C. Excuse me. Now, if you want to cut short the non-permanent, the non-continuous, make the request, sorry, non-continuous, we can do that. All we got to do is say sudo Arping -C for count, and this one's a lowercase c, and let's just pick a number like 3. That will cause the Arping request to go out 3 times. Bam, 1, 2, 3, and you're done. So that can be really useful. In fact, we're going to find an instance in a little bit where C2 is a mandatory one. Now, this is a really safe and easy command to run on a computer that has one network interface card that's active, because it will only communicate out that active card. But let's say that the machine that I'm talking from has 2 active network interfaces. Maybe they're both wired, maybe they're both wireless, maybe one of each. This is wired only. And so in that case, what you'd have to do is add the -I and the name of your network interface card. You know what? I didn't. Oh, okay. This is running over there. This will work. It's on a Pi. Okay. So now I'm going out ETH0. What happens if we try it on WLAN 0? I didn't do that. I don't think it's active on that machine. Yeah, it is. Okay. Look at the response time differences. Got 640 microseconds here going out my wired interface. I have 21 milliseconds. So this is much slower to use wireless communication than to use wired communication. What are we talking about as order of scale here? 2, 4. This is about 1/8 as fast as these. And this one went really, really, really slow. 4 more times that. Yeah, 1/8, wow. So interesting stuff. So that's the basic use of Arping. You can specify the interface you want to communicate out of. You can specify how many times you want it to talk to. You'll see the MAC addresses come back. Our issue today is, what if we want to find devices that have a duplicate? I know from turning things on and off that I've got a duplicate address, or I suspect I have a duplicate of, I don't know, something's trying to mess with my default gateway, which is 1.1. So what I'm going to do is kind of an unusual looking command here with Arping. We're going to say sudo Arping minus capital D. That means go into what's called DAD mode. Excuse me. And DAD is the duplicate automated process, duplicate address detection mode. And you can specify a particular interface if you like. But one thing that you have to do is specify 2 counts, 2 attempts. And now let's try it on the thing that we think we've got a problem, 192.168.1.1, my default gateway. This is going to look different. All we see here is 2 exclamation points. It says, I did it. I waited to see if I got multiple responses back, and then I did it again. You always have to do a -D with a -C2. Now, what happened is Arping either got a duplicate response. I got one from this MAC address and one from that MAC address, or it didn't. It only got one response. And what it generated is called the exit code. You have to check the exit code. You'd think they'd build that into this utility. They didn't. So here's how we check the exit code. We type in echo $? And the exit code was 0. 0 means there were no duplicate responses. If there's a 1, it means it got a duplicate response from 2 different MAC addresses. Again, if it knows that, it should be able to tell you that, but it's an old utility and it doesn't. So now what do? Well, now I do the same thing that I did earlier. I run an Arping continuously. I don't have a C in here. And I just watch MAC addresses as they happen. So it's really easy to happen. You just 48, they're all 48, 48, 48. And then suddenly you see one 7E. And now you know the 2 MAC addresses. One is 7824 AFD3ED48, and the other is 02608C ABC 173, whatever number I said there. And now you've got to go to your documentation or do your divide and conquer. So you don't really need the -D. You could just do this anytime without -D, as long as you know or have a pretty good suspicion of which IP address is being duplicated. But if you do that -D one, you narrow down the problem right away to say, yes, there is a duplicate, or no, there isn't a duplicate online right now. And that, my good friends, is Arping, or Arping. We install it with sudo apt install Arping. Let the 2 dependency files load up, the libcap and the libpcap, liblive, whatever it is. And then Arping, and now you've got access to the Arping command. Run it with sudo, and the syntax is pretty straightforward. You can always get help with Arping --H I'm sorry, minus help, or excuse me, man Arping. And that, my friends, endeth the lesson. Save that and move that, do this. And we'll see if any questions have occurred. As a heads up, I got to get to the bank the second the show ends here. We're dealing with insurance companies and they send checks and you got to jump through hoops, and I get 1 hour to get to the bank and get that hoop jump through. So I'm not going to do Discord after the show today, and I'm not going to troubleshoot my web server until that's done and I get back. So just check it sometime this weekend or later tonight. All right, let's go back and see if any questions have arisen. How are we doing on time here? 31. We got a half an hour to kill. Told you it was a quick one. Dave does a quick one. Yeah, most of that was background, right? All right, picked up with, looks like Stan is my neighbor. I'm over here in Jersey. Cool. His relative neighbor. That's awesome, Hunter. You can get to the video link, but you can't. Oh, okay. That means I screwed up the index file when I did the update today. Cool. That's going to be a quick troubleshooting thing. Okay. Thank you. That's great troubleshooting tool, Tulowit. That's very helpful. I know what's wrong with it. I can fix it in nothing flat. I might even do that before I go to the bank. It should only take about 2 minutes. All right, Will Shaw is back. That was an interesting appointment. Good. Oh, flyby joke. Patricia Grace. Harping is fun, but LARPing is where it's at. I know a few LARPers, including our old friend with a severely scarred heart, though he doesn't see it as LARPing. He knows what LARPing is, and he LARPs, but you know, he goes to Penzic and actually beats the snot out of people with pointy things. All right, well, let's talk about wind up stuff here. If you got any more questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to do something unprecedented. I'm going to end way early, covered my stuff, and that gives me a couple of minutes to do my troubleshooting and plenty of time to get to the bank. And I'll be back and I'll poke into Discord when I get back. I see a lot of activity happen for me on the Discord channel while I was gone. Hey, that's something I can do. Let me repost a couple of the important links. So here's the Discord link. And here is the Pi Square server. It'll be working shortly within the next 2 hours and hopefully much quicker. Here's the specials. These specials are good through this Sunday night. Then the code is going to change on Monday morning. Remember, if you want a prize today, get it to me in the next couple hours because I'm going to submit it before the night is out. Let's see. How about a couple of email addresses from me, for me, and my LinkedIn profile. Please link with me or follow me, and you'll get my becoming more and more frequent posts on there. I guess I will also remind you that Mike's got his live presentation with Philip Niedermeyer and Hassan and the rest of the crowd this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time at the following link. Let's put Mike Myers live webcast boot camp. There, got a nice link for that. This is one that always comes up. How do I get in direct contact with CyberNow Labs to sign up for a class? There's the link for them. All right, that's everything off that list. Over to this list. Upcoming episodes. So I have 3 upcoming episodes. Where was that other one? Well, Batocera, Batocera, a retro gaming focused OS that's available on multiple platforms, including Raspberry Pi. I started looking into it. It looks interesting. We're going to do that. I say that there's the one thing that I haven't looked at that says, can I show it to you as part of a presentation? Sometimes when I can't do that, I'll do screenshots of the install as I go. And even once a couple of weeks ago, I took pictures. Okay, it was a cell phone, of the process step by step. I don't like doing that, but if Batocera is interesting enough, then we'll do that. We got astrophotography coming up. And I don't know what else. Those are the only 2 that I have listed in my notes. Mike's show on Monday. Special guest, Stephanie DeLong. Stephanie DeLong is a guru on resumes and interviews, and she works very closely with high school and trade school people who have no experience. So she tries to help them find ways to express their life experiences, their educational experiences, their personal experiences, whatever, and translate into interview skills and into resumes. So you want to join Mike on his regular show on Monday. I was just in communication with her just before we started the show. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. And it's going to be a really good show. I met Stephanie in Atlanta a couple of months ago when we were doing Skills USA, and that was her job there. She was one of the judges, and as part of her judging, she had conducted an interview with each participant, with each contestant. So they bring them over. It starts with, what are you wearing? Why is your button not buttoned? Did you shine your shoes? Okay, I know sometimes that's appropriate, sometimes it's not, but the rules for the interview were set up. And so, okay, now let's take a look at your resume. Let's talk about how it's formatted, the information that's on it, whatever. And now let's talk about the job and you, and answer questions. So she's an amazing lady. You're really going to like her. She's fun to talk to. Wow. She had been in a leg scraping incident just before the show. If you looked at her leg, you would think she was in a fight with a scythe as a walking zombie. Somebody attacked. And it's been a couple of months. I'm hoping it's well healed by now, but ask her about that. How's your leg? She'll get a kick out of that, I'm quite sure. And I think she'll have to scratch her head for a few minutes before she says, oh, did Dave tell you about that? All right. Anything else pop up in the end before we wind this puppy up? Reading messages. How far back do I got to go? Okay, there's Thomas. So Will came back. It flew by. Arping. Yeah, SCA is touchy about being called LARPers. And it's weird because there are LARPing societies who just live to LARP, but without the medieval aspect of it. We got a big park down here in Houston. They get together in the park and LARP on good weather days. And there haven't been many of those this summer. Is it done storming out there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the rain is done, but okay, we got enough rain that I don't have to water the yard today. I'm pleased because we're supposed to be conserving water. All my posts happen at around 3:33 through 3:35. Yes, you'll get a kick out of it. Chris Kent, David Rush. I have an unrelated question. I'm ready for unrelated questions. What are you doing for your weight loss journey? I asked because I'd like to try also. Real simple. It started out with no carbs. Okay, so I killed everything that's a carb or a starch. No bread, no potatoes, no sugar. I eat basically 3 things: meat, cheese, and nuts and vegetables. And that's it, 100%. I've been very fortunate into not cheating. I never cheat voluntarily, but if I'm out on the road and there's nothing else, I'll try to do my best. And then I started a little bit of lifting, which isn't really causing me to lose weight. It's causing me to get a little stronger. And I have been complacent on that, but fortunately my son loves to beat me to death. What's in the tea? The same thing that's always in the tea. You know that. This is sun tea. It's got ice cubes in it. It has lemon juice in it, which lemons are a no-no, but the sugar content, this is pure lemon juice. There's no sugar content in it. And an artificial sweetener that's keto qualified or whatever. The keto, paleo, they're all pretty similar. All right. So I've plateaued. I've been holding off at having lost 65 pounds, and I go up or down a pound or two. So now I'm going to have to modify a little bit. And the nice thing about this keto thing is you can eat as much of that stuff as you want and you won't gain. However, if you overeat, and I do too frequently, you won't lose. And it's been a bad week because we're kind of celebrating the last weekend or two of the kid being home for the summer, and then we ship him off for his last year of school. So I did creative cooking this week. Yesterday was ribs, big fat baby back ribs, and we did lobster bisque this week, which is just cream and lobster and flavors. And I did something a day or two ago. It was, we did pizza the other day. Now, how do you do pizza on keto? Well, most of the things in pizza are good. The cheese is fine, the pepperoni, the ground beef and ground sausage, the veggies on it. Of course, you can't have the crust. Keto bread isn't made from wheat. It's made, or any other grain, it's made from ground up almonds. They call it almond flour, but it's not flour. It's just, they grind almonds into a microfine powder and mix that with a little bit of water and a little bit of yeast, and you got bread. So I just take the bread and put that in the bottom of a dish, put all the toppings on it, throw it in the microwave, and pizza, crustless pizza. Hate cauliflower crust and cauliflower rice. I'll do cauliflower rice with like a burrito bowl or something like that for bulk. Let's call it that. But can't go keto. I like right no, so no noodles, no rice. Well, I don't know what's going on here. My family is running around with concerned looks on their faces, and the contractor has his truck started up. So yep, no pasta. Cauliflower rice is good with curry. Okay. No breading on your meats. Now I do almond flour breading and make a marvelous couple of dishes with chicken, but it works. It works. Doing it straight for a year shook me down 65 pounds. Yeah, they make keto waffles. They're made with almond flour. You know what? After you start eating all this almond flour stuff, it's not good. The texture is terrible. It's like eating sand. I got almond flour chocolate chip cookies. You can have chocolate as long as it's at least 80% cacao. After a while, you start to like it. I like 85 to 90% cacao now and everything. Bacon crust pizza. Man, that's a winner. Oh, you know what we're having for breakfast tomorrow? Dinosaur eggs. Avocado, cut it in half, pop the pit, pop the meat and keep the meat intact. Poach an egg. When you get the egg poached to the level you want, you put it in the hole for the pit, put the avocado together, and then you wrap it with 3 slices of thick sliced bacon, and then you fry the bacon, turning it. You don't oven it or anything because you don't want to overcook the inside. And it's a big breakfast meal. It's awesome, and that's breakfast. Yes, I always have ketamine with my meals because I like being a zombie for 24 hours. Cauliflower noodles. Okay, I haven't tried cauliflower noodles. I'll take a stab at that. Cauliflower hot wings. Never heard of that. There's another one to try. All right. Well, we can do food all day. Here, I'm going to do one more food thing. We always get into the pineapple on pizza argument. I'm not going to do that one. But I was doing some reading on it the other day, and I ran across an article that made a claim that said that there is only one edible fruit on pizza. Now, I can't have pineapple on pizza. That's sugar like crazy. God, I love pineapple and watermelon, but I don't cheat. I'm really good at that. So far, so good. But that got me thinking there has to be at least one other fruit that's good on pizza. And I have this theory, and I'll get a nibble on it someday when my kid has real pizza with crust. I'll take a tiny little bite. I believe that mandarin oranges would be very good on pizza. Could be wrong, but I see it in my head. All right, well, let's wind things up here. It's 46. That's not too early. We got all the last questions done. It's a fun project. Do try Arping. Look, if you got a Linux box, all you got to do is say sudo apt install Arping, and you've got it, and you can experiment with it. It's not invasive. It doesn't hurt anything. You can Arping things all over the place. It's fun. Remember, take it to heart. Take it seriously to document your network. You got to do that in a corporate environment. And you guys are all tech weenies. You got a lot of machines. You might not have 60 or 70 like I do right now, but I'll bet when you consider your phones and your smart devices and all the family members and their computers and their tablets and theirs, it's not uncommon to say, oh my gosh, I have 20 devices with IP addresses in my network. And for troubleshooting, it's really useful to get that documented. All right, well, let's wind things up. Not too awfully early. This has been Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars, resident Pi specialist, wishing you, as always, a great weekend. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. And if it's at all possible, call or visit your parents. And never forget, technology is great, but you and I are the greatest resources that we have. So with that, good night. I will not see you on Discord. I'm going to do this quick bit of troubleshooting and then race my little keister over to La Bank. And then I'll be back on Discord. And if I didn't get the troubleshooting fixed in time, I'll fix it then. It'll be up and running in the next 2 hours. So everybody, I'm out of here. Have a good one.